Welcome to the Go Big with Gib podcast, where we talk to professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs about their big wins. What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Go Big with Gib. Today, I've got a very good friend of mine, Johnny Walker, here with me. Johnny, how are you today?
I'm doing absolutely great. Now that I'm on this platform, I'm doing even better.
Man, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. If you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Gib Irons, great friend of mine, colleague in this investment world. Absolutely enthusiastic to be here. My name is Dr. Johnny Walker, aka Janatha Withanachchi. I'm an endodontist. I'm an endodontist by trade, and now I'm a real estate and alternative investments fund manager. And I focus on helping dentists get out of the stock market and start investing in things that can actually help people achieve a thing called financial freedom.
I love that. Talk to me a little bit about your background as an endodontist and then how you made the transition into real estate. How did that come about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my journey is a little bit different from probably most people. I came from real quick background. I came from a very poor immigrant family from Sri Lanka. We were struggled in the new world, knowing very little English, working difficult jobs. So our family struggled. So eventually, Asian parents, they push us to become doctors and lawyers, and if you don't, you're a failure. So I failed my parents, and I became a dentist instead of a medical doctor. But we ended up I ended up going into finally making it into becoming an endodontist. I specialized at New York University, graduated 2008. While I was in dental school, my father started having some modest success in real estate investing when he was in his 60s. And he started telling my brother and I, who were both in dental school at the time, hey, you guys got to get into real estate. This is incredible business. I read my first book called Creating Wealth by Robert Allen while I was a third-year dental student. And at that moment, I knew that real estate was the way that I was going to mark my fortune. 8 months later, I bought my first investment property. It was a single-family house. My sister-in-law was just looking for a place to live. She was going to Seton Hall University to do her MBA program. And I said, hey, look, why don't I buy the house and you and your roommates can rent it from me? I kept buying active investment year after year. Every year I would buy another one. I would buy another deal. Soon after, I realized, hey, single-family houses isn't the way to become successful with investing. We got to go with something bigger, right? My goals were loftier, right, Gib? I made a great income. If I wanted replacement income from real estate, I knew that buying single-family houses is giving me $200-300 a month wasn't going to get the job done. So then I went into commercial real estate, right? Got involved in commercial real estate. I bought a parking lot. I bought a strip mall. I dabbled in all types of different asset classes. I was looking for ways that I could make income that was independent of me being a dentist, because I was working full-time as an endodontist at the same time. And I bought the parking lot. It was a triple net lease, which meant that I didn't have to do anything except collect the checks, right? The parking lot company that leased it from me, they handled the common area maintenance. They paid the property taxes. They paid the insurance. And I was like, I need a lot more of this type of investment. If I have so much of a bunch of these, I'm set for life. I don't need to be a dentist anymore. I'll make a ton of money with real estate. Finding those type of parking lots proved to be difficult, right? I was looking, and my price point that I was trying to invest, I lived in Manhattan at the time, couldn't afford anything there. So I was buying in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey and markets that quite frankly, I could afford. Push came to shove. 2016, I hit a wall, Gib. From the outside looking in, I looked very successful, but I was actually completely burned out. I was doing way too much, and everything was being done mediocre. And so that's when I realized that what I had was not working, and it was completely broken. This strategy would not lead me to success. This is what led me to do some soul searching. Led me to realize this world of passive investing and building income and building wealth and getting all these tax advantages, all the things that I wanted from real estate investing but while also being able to extricate myself from the day-to-day of real estate, right? Well, guess what? I had been buying for over a decade, and now I went all in with the passive investment, and I started selling everything. I liquidated all of my active real estate. I have 2 properties left, but I went and moved all of that equity from active into passive investments, and I haven't looked back since then, Gibbs, right? I haven't looked back since then, and I now practice dentistry part-time, and I now spend enormous amount of time with my children, my family. We have date night with my wife. We go on 6 to 8 vacations per year. And this has also allowed me to pursue my passions. I get to work with incredible entrepreneurs. I wake up excited every day. I do not feel burned out. Right? And so this is what I want for others. And so I've made it my career mission to help others to do this also.
Yeah, that's a really good insight. The last thing you said, you talked about your energy levels being depleted when you were practicing as an endodontist, and you were working all the time, and you just felt like you had no control over your life. It sounded like, you were not spending the time with your family that you wanted to spend. You weren't able to do what you wanted when you wanted to do it. And it's interesting how in life, when we truly align ourselves with our, true goal or mission in life, whatever you want to call it, it's funny how our energy levels increase when we tap into that source. And I've experienced the same type of thing. Like, I love being a practicing attorney. We spoke about this offline as well. Like, I work a lot as an attorney, and I love what I do, and I really enjoy working with my clients. But I think it's so important for attorneys, doctors, and medical professionals and dentists to have some sort of an exit plan, and to think about, if there ever comes a time that I don't want to do this anymore, do I have the option to not do this? And if you don't, then it's a lot like being a slave, to your job or to your business. That's a scary feeling. And so, similar to you, that's what motivated me to really get into this. And I can hear the passion in your voice when you talk about it. That must have been a pretty powerful demarcation point in your life when you said, you know what, I'm going to totally transition my focus into this passive real estate investing because I want all these benefits that it brings. And when those things come to fruition, like what a rewarding thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, when you're at the end of your life, whenever that may be, it's about, hey, did I live a life worth living? Was my life full of human experience? Did I maximize my relationships with the people around me? It's not going to be about how much money you made. That's not what's going to matter at the end of the day, right? End of the day, it's going to be, when I look back upon my life, do I have any regrets? And I guarantee you, for anybody watching this, if you're living a life where you are pursuing your passions and you're pursuing something that you're excited about, life is as good as it gets. My friend's daughter, whom I know since 1 year old, her name is Masai Russell. She just won the Olympic gold medal, 100-meter hurdles. She set the collegiate record for NCAA. Yes, I got to wear the gold medal and all that. And the incredible thing about her is the mindset. Right? When I spoke to her mom about it, she said she has never seen Masai so locked in. Her mind, body, spirit was on one goal, was to win the gold medal. She envisioned it. She played that out in her head every single day, and it happened. The human potential is unlimited. The only limitations are the ones that we put to ourselves. You have to think and talk to yourself that way, because that's what will ultimately everything else around you unfolds the way your mind thinks. I believe that very much.
I do too. So you're a very active guy on social media. How long did it take you to really start reaping the rewards of social media? And how do you utilize social media as a tool in your business?
Yeah, so social media has changed the entire game, right? Like, especially with marketing and things like that, because now all of a sudden it took power away from these large marketing agencies that charge millions of dollars. And if you want to get on one of their platforms, you got to be lucky, you got to know somebody or be connected in some way. All of a sudden, social media gave the individuals the power to have their own platforms, the ability to have outreach and impact to people that they want to reach. And so social media has been extremely powerful for me. These days, this right here, you can generate millions of dollars on this cell phone device now, right? So So I have a YouTube channel that I'm able to share my experiences, lessons that I've learned, educational concepts, things that we're not taught in professional school. And I've really been able to curate a channel for dentists. These are some things that we're not taught in school. So social media, that's been great. I've started a Facebook community because, Gib, for me, if I want to reach my mission, I need to have impact. I've helped dozens and dozens of dentists start investing journey in real estate. Never done anything outside the stock market, never done anything outside the 401k plan. So I'm very proud of that. And what's allowed me to get in front and impact all these people and have an impact on a large number of people is social media, is doing in-person events. It's tremendous fulfillment, right, for me, and tremendous amount of value for others. And so I think this is like a win-win-win scenarios, right? And this is what I love to do.
This episode of Go Big with Gib is brought to you by Irons Equity. At Irons Equity, we specialize in helping investors like you create long-term generational wealth and save money on taxes through recession-resistant real estate investments that create passive income for you and your family. If you want to secure your financial future, go to investwithgib.com to schedule a 30-minute introductory meeting with me, Gib Irons. Again, that's investwithgib.com. Let me ask you this: what asset classes have you been working on recently? Like within the last year or so, what asset classes have you been focused on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I started my complete sole focus was multifamily because that's what I knew. That's what I knew how to underwrite. That's what I understood. But now, Gib, is like I've joined a fund manager group, which has taken my investing knowledge and access to deals through the roof. And also now, because of our group, a lot of operators have found out us as a great source of capital. And so now they come and pitch to our group like Shark Tank. And as a result, I'm able to offer many more different types of investments beyond multifamily. Multifamily is a great sector and a great asset class, but there's also cyclicality to multifamily, just like every other asset class. And every asset class cyclicality is not coinciding with each other. We're late in the multifamily assets class, in the multifamily cycle. I'm a big fan if we're able to buy distressed assets in multifamily real estate, but unless they're truly distressed and we're buying for expanded cap rates at incredible basis, right now I'm more looking at other asset classes that can provide similar levels of returns and similar levels of risk profile. For example, mobile home parks are cash flowing much better than multifamily real estate is at present moment. A few years ago, self-storage was the darling, right? And everybody was in self-storage, but even with self-storage, it's one of those asset classes where it's also lower barriers to entry, right? It's easier to get approvals. There's much less coding. It's much less complexity than building a multifamily real estate structure. So we saw an explosion of people building self-storage, which, changed the landscape of that. So all of these asset classes have, a cycle to it, and being able to participate in ideal points in the cycles in multiple asset classes gives incredible diversity to investors. It reduces any risk from one asset class, one geographic location, one single operator, and allows investors to achieve more predictable levels of return. So, for that, I'm very proud to say that we've been able to diversify into, several different categories now, and been able to, do the due diligence at a very high level, and not any substandard level. Then, say, hey, because we're not looking at multifamily, we're not as certain. That's just not the case.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. So let's talk about the election a little bit, okay? So we got, it's an election year. We're here in October of 2024, and we've got a presidential election, and we've got, a congressional election. How do you see the election impacting, the state of multifamily investing and some of the other asset classes that we talked about?
I mean, there's some scary propositions, right? I mean, we have raising capital gains taxes to 45%. I've heard other crazy propositions about taxing people on unrealized gains.
I heard that. I heard that as well. Yeah.
So what, in a scenario like that, what about if you have some unrealized losses? Can you use those too, or is it only the unrealized gain?
Probably not. Yeah, I'm guessing that that's not going to be permissible if we go there. I would hope that regardless the outcome of the election, we don't end up in a situation where we're taxing unrealized gains. But you never know, right? I mean, this is a crazy world that we live in.
Yeah, I mean, they need to pay for their money printing scheme somehow, right? And that's going to come in the form of taxes, because ultimately, the one that's on the hook for the deficits that the government print, the Federal Reserve will print the money, but once that money's printed, who's on the hook for paying it back is us, as taxpayers, right? So I don't think taxes are good. I think taxes are only going to increase over time, because we'd have to pay for entitlement programs, right? So I think we're headed for a reckoning. We're headed for a day of reckoning. The U.S. dollar will capitulate, will go to zero at some point, Gib. When the U.S. dollar is worthless, what is of value? Hey, I need a place to live. I own a building. I own an apartment building. You want to live here? You got to pay me in gold, right? You got to pay me in livestock. You have to pay me with something in order to live here, right? So if you own real estate, you can always trade it for value. You can always trade shelter for things of value, right? So I think this is the time, no matter who the politicians are, we need to really be moving towards these things that have been historical hedges against, inflation.
Yeah, I agree with that. You and I were both together up in New York City at the Lone Star Summit a couple of weeks ago. And, one thing I really took away from that is that there's a lot of good things going on in the multifamily sector. I mean, we've finally got a reduction in interest rates after all this time, after 4 years of waiting for the Federal Reserve to reduce interest rates. We finally got our first interest rate cut. And, I think things are looking really good. So I'm really bullish right now on all, on multifamily, especially in the really hot markets that you and I, invest in. I love the Texas market, and I'm also very active in Phoenix, Arizona, which I think is a fantastic market. But, right now there's good signs for multifamily, and you're right. Having your money out of the stock market, which is so volatile, and having it in hard assets that are a good hedge against inflation and the devaluation of the dollar is the place to be. And so I thought they did a great job at that conference of kind of talking about, things that are going on at a macroeconomic level, and the positive signs that we're seeing. Johnny, for anybody that's listened to the episode today and wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm always happy to talk to any beginning wealth builders, continuing wealth builders, and already people that are where they want to be. The best place to reach me, go to our website, which is walkofwealth.com, WALK, Walk of Wealth. We have a YouTube channel that has incredible content that's curated especially for business owners, dentists. That's also called Walk of Wealth. And then our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. It's called Financial Freedom for Dentists. Just search the group Financial Freedom for Dentists. That should pop up. Those are the best ways. Tons of content. There's tons of blogs, downloads, resources. There's also a link that you can schedule a call with myself or one of my helpful teammates. So we would love to meet you and see how we can add value to you as well. So, that's probably the best way.
Johnny, look, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. It's a blast. I love your energy and your enthusiasm. And one thing I want to say before we conclude, I remember hearing you speak at Raise Fest, in Phoenix, Arizona. And, what a powerful thing, man, to get up in front of 1,000 people. And it's amazing. I feel like you bring that same level of energy, whether you're talking to one person or 1,000 people. And not many people can say that. And so I do think you're really dialed in to the mission that you're doing and what you're doing with your life. You seem to be really clicked in on that. And man, keep it up. You're doing great work, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Gib, for having me, man. It's been an absolute blast. Love what you're doing with your social media as well. I'm a true fan. I love what your reels, incredible information. You're obviously a very accomplished business person, entrepreneur. I learn a ton from you every time we talk and every time I see your content. So, you as well, please keep up the great work. And it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here on your podcast as well.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Go Big with Gib. If you haven't already, go follow us on social media at Gib Irons. We'll see you next time.